Okay, I'm starting the recording. Uh, Good evening, both of you. Today I've got the opportunity to present a slide on the topic structure of atom. So the moment we hear the sentence structure of atom, the question comes into our mind that what is atom? So there is a technical problem now, and the slide is not shifting to another page. Now it is. The moment we wonder what is atom. So the history of atom dates back to the Greek philosopher called Democritus. He was the first person to use the word atoms, which meant indivisible. He said that take a piece of matter, divide it, and continue to divide it until you eventually come to a point where you can no longer divide it anymore. That point, at the point where you cannot divide it anymore, that substance, that basic fundamental and basic unit is called atom. Let's go ahead. Now, what is the definition of atom? Definition: it is a fundamental building blocks of matter that we see around us. Everything that we see around us constitutes atom, and it is the smallest part of an element. Here we can see this is an atom. We can see here this is this is a subatomic particle. This is also a subatomic particle, and these are the orbits in which subatomic particle called electron is revolving. But the first atomic model was given by John Dalton, who adopted the theory of Democritus. He said that every matter consists of tiny particles called atoms, which are indestructible and unchangeable. He also said that all the elements that are characterized by the weight of their atoms. And when these elements react, it is their atoms that they combine to form new compounds. But later in the coming years, J.J. Thomson discovered the subatomic particle in the atom called electron. And in 1896, Goldstein discovered proton, which is a positively charged subatomic particle. So now here is a problem. Earlier, it was believed that atoms cannot be indivisible, cannot be divisible any further. But here we are finding that there is an electron in that atom, which is negatively charged, and there is a proton, which is positively charged. So it seemed like an atom was composed of protons and electrons mutually balancing their charges. It also appeared that protons were in the interior of the atom, whereas the electrons could easily be removed off. But the big question was, what sort of structure these particles of atom form? In Dalton's atomic theory, we studied that atom was indivisible and indestructible, but discovery of two electrons and protons inside the atom led to the failure of the Dalton's atomic theory, and it became necessary to know how electrons and protons are arranged within an atom. And to explain this, many scientists proposed various atomic models. J.J. Thomson was the first one to propose the model of structure of atom. Thomson proposed that model of an atom is similar to the Christmas pudding, or we can say is similar to the watermelon. Thomson said that look at this watermelon. Thomson said that this red area, which is edible part, is positively charged, and these seeds are like electrons, which are embedded and in negatively charged. So he compared the structure of atom to a watermelon, to the structure of watermelon. Thomson proposed that atoms are positively charged spheres and electrons are embedded on it. Like we can see here, this is a sphere which is positively charged, and negatively charged particles, electrons, are embedded on it. Although Thomson's model explained that atoms are electrically neutral, the result of experiments Thomson also said that the atoms are electrically neutral because the number of electrons are in the because negatively charged particles and positively charged cancel out each other, which makes atom as a whole electrically neutral. But the results of experiments carried out by other scientists could not be explained through this model. So then came Rutherford. He gave his model of an atom. He was very interested in knowing how the electrons are arranged within an atom. So he designed an experiment for this. He made a fast moving alpha particles fall on thin gold foil. What he did was he took a alpha particle source, we can see here, and he made the alpha particle radiation fall on the gold foil, which was of 1,000 atoms thickness. Means the thickness of this gold foil would be 1,000 atoms only. He expected that alpha particles would be deflected by the subatomic particles of the gold atoms, since alpha particles were heavier than protons. He did not expect to see large deflections, but the experiment gave totally unexpected results. The following observations were made. Most of the fast moving particles passed straight through the gold foil. Like we can see here, the alpha particle came here and it just went through. You also saw that many were deflected by small angles, and so one out of every 12,000 particles appeared to come back to its original place. So by these observations, he concluded something. What was his conclusion? His conclusion was that most of the space inside the atom is empty, and alpha particles pass through the gold foil without getting deflected. This was his first conclusion. What was the first conclusion? Atom is empty. Space inside the atom is empty. Second conclusion, he saw that very few particles deflected from their path, indicating that positive charge of the atom occupies very little space. Third one, third conclusion that he made was he saw that small fraction of alpha particles were deflected by 180 degrees, indicating that all the positive charge and mass of the gold atom were concentrated in a very small volume within the atom. From the data, he calculated the radius of nucleus to be 10 to the power of 5 times less than the radius of atom. On the basis of conclusion, he made the nuclear model of an atom. He said that there is a possibility of charge center in an atom called nucleus. So it should be noted that nucleus was discovered by Rutherford. He said that there is a positively charged center in an atom called nucleus. We can see here, this is nucleus. And nearly all the mass of the atom resides in the nucleus. And he also said that electrons revolve around the nucleus in circular paths, and the size of the nucleus is very small as compared to the size of the atom. So these were the three postulates that he made. But there is a problem there is a problem here. What is the problem? Let's see. The revolution of electron in a circular orbit is not expected to be stable. Why? Because any object, any particle in a circular orbit would undergo acceleration, and during this acceleration, charged particles would radiate energy. When it will radiate energy, electron would lose energy and finally fall into the nucleus, which will make atom highly unstable, and hence the matter would not exist. In order to overcome the objections raised against Rutherford, Neil Bohr put forward the following postulates. He said that no. He said that you know he said that yes, electrons revolve in the circular orbit, but they do not they do not get accelerated. He proposed that there is a discrete orbit, the electrons in which the electrons radiate. For example, he has named this cell as K cell. So K cell will be having a fixed energy in which that electron will also be having that much energy in order to revolve here. And he also said that while rotating in this discrete orbit, this fixed energy orbit, electrons do not radiate energy. So this was the latest model of an atom till now. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all like it. Thank you very much.